We have every justification to live the life that people assume that we would have, to be drugged out, to be pregnant at 15, or to be, all these things we're completely justified in doing because of what we've experienced, but we chose not to live that life. We chose not to be in those statistics that people told us that we would be in.
Even though we've been through some pretty crazy things, it's unfortunately not unique. It's just not talked about.
It's what we've done with it that makes it unique. I lost my biological mother to suicide when I was 6 years old. And at that point, I went and lived with my biological father. For 8 years, he was physically, sexually, and emotionally abusive. I was used to being degraded every day, all day, being called every name you could possibly think of, literally being forced to kiss somebody's feet on my knees, begging, screaming, crying for somebody to love me. I mean, you can't describe that pain and that hurt. During this time, I felt trapped. I completely thought that there was no way out of the situation and what I was going through unless I found a way to relieve myself from the pain and the misery that I was experiencing. And that, to me, logically, was through committing suicide. I had tried it multiple times. This is something generational in my family. My biological mother committed suicide and her mother. I would tell myself, I can't go outside. I can't be with friends. I can't do anything because I'm not worthy of it and I deserve this. Sorry.
Don't apologize, you good. Need a second, sweetheart?
Yeah.
All right, as a 9-year-old, my family and I live in an abandoned house. We literally piled up clothes to sleep on to avoid wood and sharp nails on the floor. No electricity, no heat in the house. We took a bucket, scooped up snow, wait for it to melt to use as makeshift showers. Even as a child, dealing with like bullying and attacks because we couldn't afford new clothes. So I went to school with shoes, no socks, or holes in my pants. My dad was selling drugs at the time. Some of these kids lived in my same neighborhood and they saw the drug abuse in my household. So, they saw my mom abusing drugs and they made fun of me for that. And that really started to internalize that and really produced a lot of anger in me, fighting in school. Things got so bad, Child Protective Services eventually found us. My mom said, we don't have a choice but to let you go into the foster care system. I felt let down and I felt that if I couldn't trust the promises of my parents, then who could I ever trust in my life?
Unfortunately, so much of our definition of love and trust and community comes from people who didn't deserve to give that definition to us in the first place. And so we're operating the rest of our lives as adults, healing from our childhood with definitions of things from people that didn't deserve to give me that definition of love and commitment and trust. And a subconscious inner voice that we have is almost always our parents' voice. But when I met my adoptive family, Kim and Brian, when I met them at 17, that 100% changed the trajectory of my life. Through seeing their love for each other, their love, their commitment, and how they parent, I see myself, this is how I could parent, this is how I could love, how I could receive it. But it took a solid 4 or 5 years of knowing them because I thought to myself, they must have done something to make God love them more. That I don't deserve that. I can never get that. And so no matter how much they loved on me, poured into me, I wasn't in a season of life that I could receive that. But that didn't stop them from continuing to plant that seed in me and seeing that for me. And I remember thinking, my God, how would my life have been different if I had that sooner? Just a parent to protect me and love me. But now I'm able to appreciate and love Justin because I've received that, in my parents now. These ideas that were planted in my head, my words aren't important. My words, my story, all of that, they don't matter. And so much of that did come from with my biological father speaking so many of those lies to me. It really was taking a hold over my life.
From the time that you came to us in the summer of 2011 to 5-6 years ago, you just changed so much in that. Not only that you're going to cheat, but you're also going to start thinking about others. And it's not just about yourself. And you're going to start realizing, this world's a better place when you put others first. And that's a way to live.
Yeah, you've grown in generosity and compassion, and it's just awesome having a seat watching your growth.
And by the time you were 26, we'd already told you we're keeping Justin whether you're staying or not.
And I told them that you would say that. I knew it.
Yeah, y'all all right. Y'all cool people. Entering into college, I'm like, I'm doing whatever I have to do to make friends, because that fear of loneliness throughout high school really hurt me for a long time. I was coming from a group home where I was trying to find myself, understand who I was. When I met Alexis, she started to pull on my heart a lot.
I think it was like the second or third day after we met. I just remember him just grabbing my hand and saying, I would just love to continue to get to know you. I think that you're a beautiful person, and you didn't deserve any of those things that you went through. When I think of like where I came from and the relationships that I had, I have never experienced love in that sense. I always believed that love hurts because I just knew only pain.
She pulled out a sense of authenticity in me and really allowed me to put aside everything that I thought I wanted to be. We needed each other, but we needed to support each other in our healing individually, and then we needed to come together and create something new.
Oh, wow, even the carriage.
Man just got her in here.
When kids succeed coming out of challenging situations, it's usually been that they've had an experience or an embrace of some key institutions. Most notably, forming a strong family. Not necessarily coming from a strong family, but forming a strong family in their own life. But we have to ensure that they know how to embrace these institutions in such a way they can really now achieve the things that they want to achieve in their own lives.
Joining me today is Justin and Alexis Black.
The book is Redefining Normal.
Justin and Alexis Black, Redefining Normal. If you have not read this book, it must be on your bookshelf and read it.
The things that they've experienced in their childhood, experiences that they had in college, growing up, they made a decision that they didn't want that to be their normal. So they took it upon themselves to redefine their normal.
For me growing up, my dad, calling me a burden and all these harmful words that I heard and received when I was a child. There was so much work that needed to be done and really go through that process of changing the way I thought about myself.
We're defining what love looks like for our daughter. I had been told for years that I have too much baggage, there's too many things wrong with me, nobody will love me.
We always thought that, we wouldn't be good enough to be parents. We weren't deserving of being parents because of who we were, what we've gone through. When you are down and not feeling good about yourself, you need to be around people who are contributing to you, who are helping you out. We want to influence people to identify that generational trauma and the practices and habits that go into creating generational success.